is Cubs Radio.
Cubs Radio.
Good morning, everybody. Good morning.
It is the Knockem. You can still hear it a little bit? Yeah?
I can a little bit.
All right, cool. Good morning, everybody. It's the Knockem Comedy Radio Show coming at you live from the legendary Governor's Comedy Club right here in Levittown. The Knockem Comedy Radio Show on govsradio.com, Facebook, YouTube, Spotify, your Fire Stick, your Roku, your Smart TV, right there on the Boxcast app. You can find Govs Radio. And we're on Facebook and YouTube and the website, and we're all over the place. Good morning, everybody. Hope you're doing well. Hope you're enjoying the tunes. That is Nick Orr and the Spectrum. The song is called Take a Bite Out of You. We're going to be on the phone with Nick in a few minutes. I am wearing red because I wear red every Thursday. It's part of... Did we lose the song?
No.
No? Oh, okay, good. I lost it here. Oh, there it is. I wear red every Thursday because it's part of the CWA showing our solidarity. But I have a blue hat on.
I was wondering why you're wearing your Mets hat.
Not only am I a Met fan, but I just want to get my blue. Because today is April 2nd. Oh, there you go. There's your blue.
Oh, wait.
And her Windex. And the wipes. The wipes cases.
They have a little blue in it.
Yep. Our mug is blue. Because it is April 2nd. It is Autism Awareness today. Autism Awareness Day. Excuse me. Autism Awareness, April 2nd. And that is why we're featuring Nick today. Nick Orr and the Spectrum. Fitting band name. It's kind of a cool name, actually. I like it a lot.
It's a really cool name, yeah.
I like how he calls it the Spectrum. Nick is on the Spectrum. But he writes, he wrote the song, he sang the song. I believe he's the drummer on the song. And I believe he plays a few other instruments as well. But we're going to talk to him in a few minutes. He'd like to get his story out there a little bit and share it with everybody, how he's on the spectrum, but he's still able to function normally in life and showcase his talents. I love that song.
Oh, yeah. It's fantastic.
I think it's great.
It's independent of being on the spectrum. It's a great song. It'd be interesting to speak with him. We're going to speak with him pretty soon.
Everybody's saying good morning. Mark White is here. Mark, what'd you think of that song? Did you like it? Let's see. Jessica Sorrell. Hello, Jessica. I saw Danielle Asher's watching. Greg D. Filippo. Robert Shapiro. D. Love. Will Sharon is watching. Hello, Will. Felix is there. Jeff Bosey. Carol Miner. Carol Miner is the one who hooked us up with Nick Orr in the Spectrum, so thank you, Carol. Gina Conjemi Coffin. Yes, Will, it does. That's funny. It does sound like a lot like AC/DC, doesn't it?
Yeah.
I was thinking
I was actually thinking the same thing.
Yeah, and Little Guns N' Roses in there, too.
Yeah.
Michelle McDonald. Mark White says, good evening. Why did you say that? He's behind us. Isn't he in time?
I had a question for Will Sharon. We've been wondering what, I don't know if you know, if you're on the in, but what's going on with the school districts and what, one of my kids is asking, are we going to have to go to school during the summer? I wonder if there's been any word out on the street. I know we got an email saying all the work that's been given to the kids isn't mandatory. We'll just give you extra credit if you do it, and that's just up until this third quarter. So Kevin's like, so what about the fourth quarter? Are they not going to give anything? Are they going to make us wait? Are we going to lose the summer? Just wondered if anyone knew what their school district was doing, or if it was a New York State thing or an American thing. So, just curious. He's got geometry. He's got biology. He's got a whole bunch of stuff going on. And he has to hand in his orchestra, so he has to record himself his lesson and hand his recording in from the violin. I thought that was funny.
They should go to jail for wanting a video of him playing with himself. Hello, Rich Rada. I have learned some very unfortunate news, says Jeff Bosey. 7-Elevens will start closing in the month of April. I've seen 2 so far. Wow. That's crazy.
That's a little shocking because you'd think it'd be safer than the food store.
Wow.
You know, not that many people. And when we left here on Tuesday, we went to Trader Joe's in Hicksville. My kids like this one rice milk that they eat with their cereal, and they don't like any other rice milk, and it works out fine for me because Trader Joe's has like a big container that's like the cheapest I've seen, but the best. And so of course I was out. I'm like, ugh, all right, let's go get like 18,000 containers of rice milk. But we had to stand online outside the building, 6 feet apart, and it took 45 minutes to even get in the store.
Was it that long?
Yeah, but once you got in the store, like no one was around you whatsoever. You just zipped right in and zipped right out.
Yeah, it wasn't terribly crowded. So what do you think? They had maybe I don't even think it was 50 people allowed to shop at once.
And one thing that I thought was interesting,
50 at the most.
Like first of all, they didn't want us to bring our bags in, which kind of disappointed me because I haven't wanted to use the carts because I figured if we load in our bags and then pay for it and put it back in our bags and no one's touching anything, but they wouldn't allow us to bring the bags in, but they would give us wipes at the door with the cart. But one thing that I thought was interesting just listening to the people talk online is, and we're not doing this, so I think we're goners. Let me know if you guys are doing this. They said something about like, well, what about washing the stuff when you get home? So I was like, what do you mean? Like fruits and vegetables? Yeah, I always do that. And they're like, no, we take like your cereal boxes and wipe them down before we bring them into the house because someone might touch them. And I'm like, I'm not even thinking this way. So I don't know whether I'm just a goner or I should be doing it or that's a little crazy. Like, what are you guys doing?
Will Sharon said he has zero insider information, but it's his opinion that it'll come down to just a pass-fail this marking period, and that's going to be it until September.
Oh, that'd be nice. Like, kind of like remember the years that the Regents was stolen? So you'd study like all year long for the Regents test, and then you'd go to take it like, sorry, the test was stolen. You just get a pass.
Wasn't that like 40 years ago?
Yeah, well, it has happened. I know my sister's class. It happened in her algebra Regents. And
Her what?
Algebra. What?
You said algebra.
Oh, did I?
Yeah.
Algebra. Library.
Don't forget the bra.
Don't forget the bra. D-bra. Yeah, but she was bummed because she actually does really well in algebra. She wanted to show off the nerd.
Yeah. So what are you saying, Will? You think that this marking period, because it was pretty much, it was in the middle of the third quarter when the school shut down. So you think they're just going to stop it, whatever their grades are for the third quarter? You think that's going to be it? So basically, you think there's going to be an extended summer break, is what he's saying. Which there's a positive to all this.
Yeah,
but it's definitely weird to hear that 7-Elevens are going to. Are they closing? He said they're closing. Not.
Well, they're individually owned, so they could do whatever they want to do.
Yeah. So they're going to just knock their hours back. And it's definitely weird. Like every day we come here, between this being a very Governors being an exciting club, energetic club. There's always people in and out, and because of the type of club it is, there's always an energy here. There's a high school right down, on the other side of the parking lot. There's a dairy mart next door.
Best steak sandwiches.
And it's all, it's a ghost town around here. It's so weird. Like every day walk, pulling up here we're the only car.
Yeah.
And there's just the dairy mart is shut down. It's still weird to me to see Governors shut down. It's still weird to see nobody here.
When we walked out Tuesday, we walked across the lawn to get to the car, and there was a off-duty, or a, what do you call it? A police car that, not off-duty. What am I looking for? I can't find the word.
Unmarked?
Unmarked, yeah.
Oh.
But you kind of knew that it was. It was like, that. Because cops sit in that parking lot all the time, between the school and everything else. But, you could totally tell. But when we first walked out, I was thinking, we're going to get, hauled off to jail for coming in here. We're going to be like, it's just us in there. Don't arrest us.
Yeah, of course. Will Sharon wants to give us a call. We are
that'd be great, Will.
I just opened up the phone lines. We are going to be calling Nick Orr of Nick Orr and the Spectrum. We're going to call him. I guess we'll call him as soon as we're done with Will.
Yeah, but call Will.
Comedian John Ziegler, our buddy John Ziegler. We're going to be talking to him around noon, and then pretty much as soon as once we're done with John, then we're going to head out of here. Will, go ahead and give us a buzz. Mark White is begging you to call. Anything that shuts these two up. Wow. Hello, Tom Galati.
Unreal.
And Valentina, what'd you say? Your corner deli closed for good. So it has nothing to do with this virus crap. It just had to close, or did it have
No, it
something
probably
to do
closed because it was probably on the brink of closing before this, and now, couldn't stay open during this.
Yeah, you think businesses are feeling the financial crunch this quickly, you think?
Yeah, like the Petco that is in this parking lot, I was talking to them a few weeks ago, and they're closing down permanently. I'm like, really? Like, because of this? And they're like, well, we had been thinking about it over the last few months because they raised our rent, and now that they, with this going on, and then they just closed down.
But there you go. They raised the rent. All right, there we go. You ready?
Yeah.
Hello, Will Sharon.
Yo, what's up, G?
Yo, what do you say?
Nothing. It's my opinion that we in the city we just started the fourth marking period right before this happened. So my thoughts are this marking period is going to be like just pass fail as long as the kids did the work, because it's overwhelming for the kids, the parents. That we have kids that don't have internet, we have kids that don't have laptops, so that had to be provided.
Wow.
I think it's just a lot of flexibility on our end just to make sure that they have some sense of normalcy at home while trying to do classwork on their own, because some kids, they need to learn off each other and they need to be in the class.
The teacher, like even Kevin was saying, and Kevin, Kevin's someone who he just seriously catches on in a second,
Yeah.
And so he's really different from anyone I've ever known. But even he was like muttering to himself doing geometry the other day, being like, I need a teacher for this. I can't learn this just on my own. So if he's feeling it.
Yeah, even just interaction just to confirm what you think is the right answer, or how you think would be the right way to get it. Just something like that. They need, so we offer through Google. Like at my school, we're doing Google Classroom.
They're doing that.
Yeah, there's Nearpod, which is a website where you can do the lessons and record your voice and add video to it. But we also offer for the classes like instant message throughout the day. We do Meet, so the kids get like a live lesson in real time with us. So we're doing everything we can just to give them a sense of normalcy.
Well, right. But that's the thing. Well, if the teachers, if the students are able to connect with the teachers, whether it's a live stream like this, where they're able to post their questions, or if so I know some of them can even just email the teacher. I mean, that's still not helping. Like you said, they need the teacher.
Yeah, especially with
that's not getting the job done.
Especially with math and science.
Some kids, I think.
Yeah.
There's some kids there's plenty of kids that can that have zero problems learning on their own. Reading the lessons and answering them. But there are some kids though that have other needs, and some kids that they even in the classroom, it's not just us teaching. It's students doing group learning off each other, and
okay.
So some every kid learns. Most kids learn differently, but most of them learn the same couple of ways, whether it's visually or hands-on or whatever,
Right.
But we're just trying to do the best we can to accommodate them.
And that's I don't want to say the problem, but that was part of this. It's not like you guys had a lot of time to really prepare.
Yeah.
So I would think, but by the time, like you mentioned,
a problem. You could say it's a problem. It definitely is a problem.
Well, all right. So and then like you said, by the time they get laptops out, by the time they get internet, figured out for those who don't have it, you're probably right. By the time all that gets figured out, it probably would be a wash. You're probably talking June, July at that point anyway. So, but what kind of a problem would it be then if it went by what you're saying? If they just said, okay, third quarter, those are your final grades for the year, and that's it. I mean, whatever the kids didn't learn, do you think New York State or the education department will be flipping out over that lost quarter? Do you think they're going to try and make it up somehow, or do you think we're just going to let it go and September is just starting fresh like nothing happened?
I don't see. I mean, they're already taking away part of the spring break. So we have Holy Thursday, Good Friday, and the Monday after Easter, where we actually are still getting those days, but the 4 days that follow, that Monday we're expected to be working. I don't see them, if it does continue through June, I don't see them having us work in the summertime.
Right. I don't either.
But I also, considering we had 75% of the year done, when they said that they were suspending the state exam, that does take some pressure off some kids that get test anxiety. But we can't look at it as okay. Well, if the state test is done, and some of us rely on that for our evaluations, it could set the tone that some may want to phone it in, and as far as instruction or learning for the student. And I think that's part of it too, is to make sure that we are doing our job. That we are, if the Regents, for example, if the Regents is suspended, also that they're coming up with alternative ways to assess that the kids are learning. Because look, I mean, this has never happened in our time.
Right.
So even if I'm not speaking on behalf of a school or a district, the country, every state, this is brand new. So we're only in our second week now of instruction. Last 2 weeks ago, the week where all the kids were quarantined, teacher, we were still coming to work for 3 days to quickly iron out how are we going to do this?
Do?
So it's still in its infancy, the online learning. So, and we just told parents, just please be patient with us. We're being patient with kids turning in work. We're trying to interact when we can. Realistically, kids are working around the clock. I get emails that I see at 1:00 in the morning. Kids are submitting things because in some areas, kids are not the only child, and they may only have one computer, and they're all trying to share their work.
Exactly.
So what do you think? So I mean, you said you lost the spring. Some of the days from the spring break, but they're already saying we're not going. April 15th is the earliest.
Yeah.
So those days, you're not making up those days, and I mean, truth be told, no, it doesn't look like you're going back April 15th anyway.
Right.
So if let's say you go back, let's just say for argument's sake it's May 1st. I mean, where would you guys even begin at that point?
Well, we've been sticking to our lessons. We have the units that we cover each year in our syllabus. We haven't stopped our pace of what we've been teaching. We've just kind of toned down the volume of it because I teach each class. I teach 8 periods a week. So this one particular class, even though there's 5 days, I meet with them for 8 periods. So there's 3 days a week where we have 90 minutes with them. So it's just a matter of just toning down the work we would have done and giving them a less volume of questions, but still the general ideas of what they would learn. So we're still on the same unit we started before the quarantine.
Right.
And clearly I called in to cheer you guys up.
Well, that was my next question, actually. So have you gotten creative with your videos? Like you treating it like, hey, here's Will, like a Will.
No, I've put I use kids' names in the word problems. So whatever's in the unit books, what I'll do is I'll just change the names so kids like that. I do that with tests too because kids get excited to see.
I love that. I remember
they love seeing their
one
own
time
name,
in 8th grade, my name was like it was in a science class. Instead of just something salamander, it was Sallie Salamander. I was like, holy shit!
Yeah,
I looked around.
It was just last week.
Yeah, we have some kids that have that have fairly unique names, so I try to use them too because I mean even my wife's Daniela, she still is upset that there was never a Daniela little license plate for her bicycle when she was a kid.
Yeah.
But so I try to do stuff like that, and then
you just said her name live on the air, so everybody to hear. So you just scored some points.
But we did this week is Virtual Spirit Week at school, so we had on Tuesday for technology. We did a TikTok. It's on Facebook. It's got 1,500 views already.
Oh wow!
One of our science teachers wanted us to do a TikTok, so we all. So here's the thing: we were supposed to lip sync Here Comes the Sun by the Beatles.
Right.
So I remember emailing it like, are we lip syncing or are we singing it? Because I was thinking of the Gal Gadot Imagine video on Twitter, and I was like, are we? So she's like, yeah, no, you could sing. So I'm playing the guitar and singing it, and I send it. And in the video, I'm lip syncing, and then as they cut to the next teacher, you can hear me singing terribly, like muddled in the background. I was like, epic fail.
We got to find that.
Yeah, that's awesome.
It's I share it on Facebook. I'll share it to I'll share it with you guys, or I'll tag you or something in the comments.
Okay.
But it's funny though, because everyone thinks that teachers are like loving like working from home and stuff. Yeah, it's nice to drink a hot cup of coffee, and when I have to go to the bathroom, I don't have to wait 45 to 90 minutes. But I mean, we do genuinely miss the classroom. I mean, it's not just missing the kid; it's just missing like the commotion you hear in the hallways when it's a kid's birthday and the kid comes by. You see like the lone balloon in the crowded hallway. It's teachers that you're friendly with. It's especially when you love coming to work.
Right.
It's the people in the main office that expect you to not expect it that are happy, but like wait, they anticipate you coming in and cracking a joke to make them laugh.
Well, yeah, but and you don't have to comment on this if you don't want to, but I'm sure to a lot it's not just a hot cup of coffee they're drinking.
No, I don't think so.
Yeah. Liquor sales have gone way up.
I don't think there's Irish coffees going on. I know I'm not drinking any. I get my 2 Dunkin' decafs and
yeah, I noticed none of the liquor stores have closed by us. There's like 15,000 of them. They're all essential.
And all right, so and
everybody's values delivers.
And everybody's holding up all right so far. You guys are doing okay?
Yeah. It's funny because Daniela teaches also. So right now she's doing a live lesson with her second graders, and I had a math team meeting at 8 a.m. with my principal, assistant principal, and a few other math teachers, and now I have to go sign in on another computer because my son, who's in kindergarten, his teacher's going live now, and my daughter's in 7th grade in her room on her. I mean, but she's lucky because her school district they give the kids laptops through middle school. So she's doing her online learning.
Well, that's something I never thought about. Everybody better have a lot of different devices. Otherwise, you're screwed.
Yeah,
I didn't think about that.
That's why we've given these kids extensions on the work as well, is because we know that for many of them time is limited. Like they had a quiz last Friday that I gave them until Monday to hand it in. So literally, you have the weekend to get the answers.
Yeah,
right.
But half of them. The internet time is something that the whole family might be working on because maybe the parents are working from home also. So I've even extended it till this Saturday to give them like a full week to do it, just because it's so unique, and especially once all this time is over, do you really want to be the bad guy, the one that made the kids like stress out over this? I don't want that.
You don't want that.
Right.
In the words of Tony Montana, I don't want to be the bad guy.
Right.
But on that note, let me go because my son his teacher's reading them The Great Pumpkin.
Okay.
So I got to go sign in.
Thanks for calling in.
All right, all the best to you and your family, buddy.
Thanks. Same to you guys.
All right, well, see you soon. Bye.
All right, later.
And if you don't mind, just shut that off for a second. I just wanted to read a paragraph, and then we could call.
What are you reading?
I got this the other day, and it was from the superintendent, actually from, I think it was Long Beach, but I just thought it was like really cool, and it's kind of like a lot what Will's saying, and it says like whether this lasts 2 more weeks or 2 more months, do not worry. We will get your kids caught up. It is our job. It's what we are trained to do. Don't worry if you are not the perfect homeschooling parent. Don't worry if you were torn between working at home and helping your kids. Don't let your kids spend 9 hours a day doing schoolwork online. Cut them off and tell the teacher it was too much. Don't let these days be joyless for your kids. 20 years from now, your children are not going to remember what they learned during the spring of 2020. Honestly, they won't. They just won't. They will remember the time you stayed home with them, or whoever is home caring for them for the few weeks. They will tell their own children about feeling safe and loved and peaceful during an anxious time. They will always remember the fun things you did with them. Do what is most important for your family for the next few days, weeks, or months. Together, we'll come through this and we'll look at the world differently. Be kind to yourself and wrap your kids in love. And it's Dr. Jennifer Gallagher from Superintendent of Schools. I thought that was cool.
That is nice.
Yeah.
And spot on. You know, it's true. You know what? That is exactly what they're going to remember. And we were watching last night. Mike Del Giudice did one of his live things, and he was going on and on about how dangerous it is and how much it all sucks and where everybody's dying.
Yeah, they got it in their house.
Yeah, true. Yeah, he's got it in their house, and we actually have a close friend of ours that we found out yesterday who has it. But I mean, you know, of course, I'm not disrespecting the fatalities, but we will get through this, and you know, unfortunately, there will be casualties, but you know, we will get through this. Hopefully soon.
Yeah. All right. Do we have to call him or?
Yeah, we're going to call him. Just wanted to mention. Rich Rader was talking about, a few people talked about, you know, how it was nice to hear from an actual teacher, Joe DeSalva. A few people said it was nice to hear from a teacher and hear his point of view, and it was a good call.
He's a great teacher, too.
Addison Scott, nice to see your name in the thread there. Hope you're doing well. Addison Scott was here, part of his great band with his father, Ken Friedberg. They were here that day. We had a great time with them that day. All right, so speaking of great music, we are going to make our call now. If you missed it at the top of the show, go back and watch it later. We were playing some music from a band called Nick Orr, O-R-R. Nick Orr and the Spectrum, they're called. Great tunes. They have several great tunes. Good old rock and roll tunes.
Yeah, really good.
And they're called the Spectrum because Nick Orr is on the Spectrum. And I'm wearing blue. I'm a huge Met fan, but it's also my blue here because it's Autism Awareness Day. April 2nd every year is Autism Awareness Day. So check out Nick Orr's music. We're going to give him a call now and speak to him. Check out their music. It's really fantastic. And Nick likes to, he wants to get his story out there. He wants to talk about how he is on the spectrum, but he's still doing what he loves to do, and is doing it well. Did I do that right? We don't hear anything, right? Oh, hello.
Hello.
Can you hear us?
Yes.
Oh, okay, cool. This is this is Diane, Nick's mom. Is Nick there too?
Yes, I'm here. Hello.
Oh, there he is. Hi, Nick. How are you, buddy?
Good. We're just watching you on my mom's laptop right now.
Nice. And did you hear your song at the beginning of our show?
Yeah, we were just very excited about how cool it's for us to listen to the song and everything else.
Very nice. Have you ever been on any radio shows before?
Never.
Nice. Oh, so there we go. An
We're
exclusive
the first.
right
Yay,
here.
Nick. Woo!
Very nice. Okay, so Nick Orr and the Spectrum. So you are you and for that particular song, you sang it, wrote it, and played the drums. Is that correct?
Yep, that's correct.
Very nice. And you play a bunch of instruments, if I'm not mistaken. Throughout my life, I play not only drums, but I also play keyboards for certain occasions, and also a harmonica for a few songs. Oh, very nice.
What was your first instrument?
Drums.
Okay. And you know what? Let's backtrack a little bit. How old are you, buddy?
I'm 23.
23. And you live down in Florida, right?
Yeah, I live outside Fort Lauderdale.
And your band, Nick Orr and the Spectrum, you guys actually play out and do live shows, right? So people in that area can actually see you guys play?
Yeah, absolutely. We've been playing a lot of gigs around the month, like 5 or 6 gigs every weekend.
Nice.
Of the month. I'm sorry, 5 to 6 gigs a month.
Right.
Sorry
okay. No, that's fine. Wow, that's great. And how many people in the band?
3 of us. We're a power trio.
Oh, I like that. A power trio. So and the music, at least I heard this song, and then there was another one I heard. And I can't remember the title. I'm sorry about that.
Long Hair, No Care?
Yes, that was it. Yes. Now these songs are very They sound a lot like AC/DC, a little bit of Guns N' Roses. Are those, or who are your favorite bands?
My most favorite is Led Zeppelin, but I have other favorites like the Beatles, Nirvana, Fleetwood Mac, James Taylor, and Guns N' Roses and AC/DC, and other bands like you said before.
That's cool. And how did you? Because those bands, everybody you named is really not what a typical 23-year-old would be listening to. So how'd you get into those bands? Was it your parents?
My parents have a huge music collection around the house. My father introduced me to some early rock and roll, like Elvis, the Beatles, and Sade, and then a few years later, I got into new things like Led Zeppelin, Tommy James and the Shondells, and then as soon as I got into my teenage years, I discovered a lot of other bands that I like Kiss, Guns N' Roses, and also some new bands that I've heard like Greta Van Fleet,
Sure.
and other things.
Wow. So so basically what you're telling me is that you have some pretty cool parents with good taste in music.
Yeah.
and I like how you threw in Elvis, the Beatles, Sade.
I was going to leave that alone.
Sade usually isn't mentioned when you talk about Elvis and the
like
Beatles.
Nick's dad is like, don't tell him I listen to Sade.
I like to listen to music sometimes that can be slow down the mood,
Sure. You ever do a little smooth operator when you're playing a gig?
No, but we will one day when we get back to the gig soon after the disaster is over.
Sure. And how you doing with all this? You staying home and you're relaxing? You're okay?
Yeah, we're just still hanging in at home.
Good.
My mom and my sister are working remotely for a few weeks now.
Okay.
And we're staying safe already.
What do you do? What do you do normally, Nick? Is music your only thing, or do you have a job or something?
No.
Oh, so it's just
No.
music is your thing?
Yeah.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
So
And I'm still working on some new original material that I've been working on, and also we just uploaded some songs on Facebook yesterday that everybody could go check out. They can go on our Facebook page, and you'll see our recent post about it, and you'll see the songs on SoundCloud, and you can also hear the other original songs that we've been working on.
Excellent. Yeah, SoundCloud. There's a Facebook page, Nick Orr and the Spectrum. Carol Miner is telling me that you actually sang in an Idina Menzel concert.
Yeah, I did. It was one of the best experiences I've ever had.
I bet. How did that come about?
Well, first of all, I'm a big musical theater fan, and I love Idina so much. So, what happened was that she was doing the song from Rent, "Take Me or Leave Me," and during the song, she was going down to the audience to find some people who know the verse of the song, and I, as soon as I saw her walking to the middle aisle, she saw me and this other girl, and she said hi and said, can you sing? And I said yes, and she said, okay, come on down here, and I was super nervous, and by the time I told her what part I'm going to sing, the verse sung by a black large lesbian lawyer in the show because that's her love interest. And
That's great.
Yeah, and and when I started saying a few lines like "I look before I leave, I love margins of discipline," and she was so amazed that I got to sing the high notes and everything, and everybody in the audience was amazed as well. And then after I sang it, Idina was talking to the audience, and she was like, all right, let me tell you guys something. This is not in a good guy's key. He just sang in a girl's key, and he kicked the living bleep out of that.
That's a great story. That's cool. You know, and I actually had something similar happen to me once. Sheryl Crow was once singing. I was in the front row. She came towards me, but then when she got a close up on my face, she turned around and walked the other way. That's my Sheryl Crow. No, I'm joking. So, but that actually leads to my next question though. Do you get a lot of female attention? You know, from getting up on the playing the gigs and rocking out. You get a lot of females saying, "Hey, Nick, that was great."
Some of them, yeah.
That's what it's all about, right?
Yep. Sort of.
It's all about the girls. That's right. So, all right. So, we did mention that today is Autism Awareness Day, and I did see on your Facebook page that that you that's part of the story that you would like to get out about yourself. That you're on the spectrum, but yet it doesn't stop you from writing your music, playing your music, doing what you got to do to get it out there. So I think that's fantastic. I applaud you, and I do think the songs and the performances are fantastic. So is there anything about being on the spectrum that you would like to talk about?
Yeah. I think that when I think about playing music while sharing my story with my autism spectrum, I think it really helps a lot of people who have kids who don't have their voices to share about, but they want to get involved and stay involved in something that they want their kids to succeed in life, no matter what their situation is, and I can say is that for those kids who are on the same situation as I am, they always concentrate better, and for those who wanted to be performers, I would say one little piece of advice: no stage fright.
Very nice. Well, yeah, that is part of being on the spectrum, right? That a lot of people on the spectrum they do have problems socially making eye contact, and they are very shy. So I'm sure the stage fright is a big part of it.
Involved with involved with the sound and everything, mm-hmm. because I get how sensitive these kids get with the sounds and everything.
Sure. Were you scared the first time you went on stage?
I don't think so.
Oh, nice. That's great.
Yeah, that's great.
and you're handling this well. You're doing great answering the questions. But I think that's exactly it. You know, you're showing the autism community that it doesn't have to hold you back. You can still do what you want to do and do it well, and have a being able to do what you love and having a good life, a fully functional life. And I do. I have an autistic daughter, and I'm involved in the autism community here on Long Island, and I'm always amazed by the bravery that these guys have. My daughter's 21, and her and a lot of her peers they're very brave. They really try hard to not let the autism limit them or stop them from doing what they want to do. And you're a very big example of that. So I appreciate your time very much. I think your songs are great.
Thank you.
Looking forward to hear a lot more of them. Can we, before we say goodbye, can you? We do have one request from Carol Miner asking if you wouldn't mind singing a little bit. Would you mind singing a little bit of something? You don't have to if you don't want to.
I don't know. I think it's pretty strange hours for rock stars. I think you should sing.
Okay, that's fine. Well, maybe before we go, maybe we'll play the other tune. Maybe as we're heading out or
that
something.
sounds
You know what?
idea.
I think I could sing a little bit.
Oh, okay, that'll be great. Go ahead.
You can say anything you want, I don't care. The one thing I'll never change is the length of my hair. Don't come and exhaust me. I'm coming now, and hear me say, long hair.
It still sounds better than any singing I would do.
Yeah, that's awesome. Thanks, Nick. Really appreciate it.
Nick Orr and the Spectrum. Nick, thank you so much for your time. It was a pleasure talking to you. Thank you, Diane, Nick's mom. It was a lot of fun. And, stay in touch. We'll definitely play more of your music as the stuff is coming out.
Hey, thank you. Thanks so much.
Thanks, both of
Anytime.
you.
Thank you, guys. Take care now. Stay safe.
Bye.
Bye-bye now. There you go. Nick Orr, ladies and gentlemen.
You could definitely hear like Led Zeppelin, screaming through his body.
Yeah. And AC/DC,
he's
too,
very
yeah.
good.
Very good,
We
yeah.
heard a couple of songs yesterday. They were fantastic.
Again, those of you that are just tuning in, hello, Bonnie. Bonnie is he has an autism song. Autism Speaks to Me, Makes Me Cry. Oh, wow. I didn't. All right.
Yeah,
sorry, I
Bonnie,
missed that
check
one.
out.
Yeah, if you missed
this
the
band.
opening of the show, we played it right at the top of the show. Nick Orr and the Spectrum. Look them up on Facebook. Nick Orr, ORR, and the Spectrum. Nick is on the autism spectrum. And today is Autism Awareness Day, so we figured it would be a good day to talk to Nick and play some of his music. We played one of his songs at the beginning of the show. I'll try to get another one to play as we're ending the show later. Fantastic. If you like AC/DC, you like Led Zeppelin, you just like good rock and roll, definitely check these guys out. You heard Nick just now sing a little bit for us. Great rock and roll voice. So,
You could talk about it if you don't mind, because I'm really kind of new to the autism world. Like, kind of explain what it's like for like the kids that autistic kids that have to like stay home during this, and fears that they would have that other people don't have, and because I find it it's interesting, especially today.
Autistic people with autism, they're very used to a routine. They're very used. They don't like surprises. So when stuff like this happens, where your day hab or your job gets shut down, they don't. It takes them a little longer to adjust than it would, you and me. It's. And then they have like Nick pointed out, they have a lot of social anxieties. They have a lot of social issues. They like Nick said, he wasn't scared to get up on stage, but the majority of people on the spectrum would have a hard time, at least in my opinion, would have a hard time getting up on stage by themselves, to sing or perform in some way. So there's a lot of anxiety too, I think, of what's happening. I think they get a little more anxious about, getting sick or their loved ones getting sick
that they love. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's so there's a lot of talking them down. Yeah. I mean, I'm not. We're not talking. We're not have to talk them off a ledge, but there is some anxiety there and worried. So. It's, I don't know, it's weird, when you first hear that when you first realize your child is on the spectrum, when you first get diagnosed, you don't have a handbook, you don't have experience with it, or at least most people don't, like Bonnie's been through it a few times over, so she might have been like, oh, I got that.
Yeah, she's
no problem.
I know. She probably didn't know what to do with her, her daughter who doesn't have any of this stuff. What do you do with someone like that?
But Bonnie Bonnie's been trying to send me a video. We'll figure it out, Bonnie. But it's when you first realize that that your child gets diagnosed, you automatically you take it as such negative, hard news, and I know for me, I just started thinking about certain things that I'll never experience, or at least at the time, that's how I thought of it, just things that I might not experience in life, like giving my daughter away at her wedding.
You
and
don't
stuff.
know.
Well, that's the thing, but that's what I mean.
At the time, that's what you thought.
Yeah, she was diagnosed at 2, and so of course that's what you think about at the time. Plus, it was just a bad year for us because she was 2 when she was diagnosed, and then what was it? And then she was. So we were just getting into that world, and when then I got sick, so it was just a crazy time. But but what you learn, as you start to get into that world of services and special ed and the social aspects, you learn that it's not as grim as it looks. In the beginning, you learn a lot. They're so loyal to the friends that they have. They try harder than a lot of people do to do certain things, especially when they get older, because they do realize when they get older that they're I don't want to say different, but they're just differently abled than the rest of us, and they strive hard to do the same things that everybody else does, and they have the same goals, the same aspirations, the same humor, the same things, and it's really just a matter of, it takes time to realize that, again, there's no handbook, so you don't, especially when they're little, there's some rough moments, but it does get better. There's still some fears, my daughter, I don't know if she'll ever be able to fully live on her own, and of course you really worry about what's going to happen when you're gone, but you do okay, and they're okay, and again, you hear this great music from Nick Orr and the Spectrum, and it's just amazing. You wouldn't know. I mean, you wouldn't know just from listening to it.
And
that he's
also,
on the
like,
spectrum,
little things. Like, I think, I'm speaking as a total layman here, but, like, I think often they'll develop more than you were told initially.
Well,
like there are little things. Like, Sammy is like it was a few years ago she decided to join, go bowling, and she was holding the bowling ball with like two hands and throwing it down the, like everyone does, when they're like little, and it probably stopped before it hit the first pin, that type of thing. Like, what's her typical score now, this bowling crazy maniac kid of yours?
Her average is probably around 130, maybe.
Yeah, but she's come home with like what?
Oh, before this mess started, because now she's in a bowling league, a special needs bowling league. She's been hitting 160s regularly.
Yeah, and
lately,
wasn't like 178. What's her high score? I forget.
Yeah, high score is I think one. No, it's one. Isn't it 196 or something?
Yeah, it's just crazy. Yeah,
it's around there somewhere.
Like, you never, when you get the news when they're 2 years old, you don't really realize that there's just going to be things that they're going to love and they're going to be great at, and
it's like a death of what you thought your child would be. Right. That sums it up perfectly, Bonnie. Because again, you don't. When they're little, it just seems like the end of the world, and they do struggle. I personally feel they struggle more when they're younger. I personally feel it's gotten a lot better as time has gone on, at least on my end.
Right.
Hello, are you there?
Hi, Tony. It's Bonnie. How are you?
Hey, Bonnie. How you doing?
I actually woke up in time for the show today.
Yeah, we haven't been doing the full 2 hours with all this mess, but yeah, we're hanging around for a little while. But yeah, we're glad you caught us, and we're glad that you guys did your show last night.
Yeah, it went well, but I had an interesting autism story that I thought you might want to hear.
Would love it.
My daughter went to Israel, and she met a bunch of people. And one of the people that she met was this woman rabbi, and she has two autistic brothers. And the rabbi told her that in Israel, when you have an autistic child, it's considered a mitzvah, which means a wonderful thing. And I'm like, how is it a wonderful thing? So she went on to explain to her that they believe that people who are autistic are pure of heart, that they never do anything maliciously, that you're blessed when you have an autistic child. And wow. She was really touched by that. She felt like, all her life, she always wanted a brother or sister that she could talk to. And
sure.
And this happened not too long ago. It happened. She went to Israel, I think, for birthright. I think about 2 years ago. Something's happening outside my house. They're all beeping their horns. I don't know. on out there. There's something like a chaos going on. It's usually very peaceful out there. But I just wanted to share that.
Do you have a shirt on?
What?
Do you have a shirt on?
That people are looking through your window and beeping.
Oh yeah, let me look out the window. I don't know what the fuck is going on. Oh, sorry, I'm not supposed to curse.
Oh, okay.
They're like beeping their horns, like it's a parade or something.
Maybe it is. Maybe they're doing one of those teacher things. Those parades that they've been doing?
Something's happening.
Is it?
They're like following each other and just beeping the horns, and it says something on the car
I've
window,
seen
like
some
a
stuff
sign.
like that. Like sometimes
can't
teachers
see it.
have like gone through the streets to say hi to their kids because they miss them.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Those parades. Yeah.
Yeah, I saw one
Oh, it's
parade.
definitely like they planned this, and there's some.
Yeah,
And there's car after car after car after car.
Yeah, that must be what it is. One of those.
I saw a video
school
of
parades.
a little girl coming home from like her last chemo treatment, and she was, she looked about like 12, and
It
she was
has
bald.
balloons.
And
Yeah,
she
there's
was,
balloons on
she was
it.
going through the
Maybe-
streets, and everyone was in the streets like clapping because they couldn't come to visit her because she's definitely,
That it might, because of nobody have a party. Maybe that's why.
Yeah.
It's something to do with something positive.
Nice.
But yeah, that's interesting. But I just wanted to share that story because I agree with you, Tony, that of course there's so many difficult things about having some children who are autistic, and I have my brother right now,
Right.
and I'm his guardian, and this whole pandemic is very scary to him. He's high functioning. So he can talk. He has a job in a supermarket.
Right.
And what happened was he lives in a house with two other people, and one of them became very sick. So they were afraid that he would have quarantined. They tested the other house member. It turned out she did not have it.
Oh,
but
good.
when he found out that he might be quarantined, he flipped out.
Oh,
He
wow.
had, and I haven't seen him have a meltdown in a long time. 'Cause
Yeah.
as they get older, they get a lot better.
Right.
The parents who have the newly diagnosed children, those are the ones that are really suffering. Because before you start any kind of intervention, it's a nightmare. It's like I remember with my brother, he would just have tantrums over anything. Like for him, it was not anything, but like if we went to a restaurant and some salad came out of the bowl, he'd have a meltdown.
Right.
And
And
he had to have a.
This is going back too. This is before there was that big surge in the special needs population of
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So back then there weren't as many services. It wasn't as socially accepted.
Absolutely. It was like nobody knew why he was acting that way. We got, I think that's another reason I'm messed up is my childhood was just a big frickin' mess, and my mother was a wonderful woman. She wanted to not cure him, but do everything in her words as like a normal family would. But we weren't a normal family.
Yeah.
So
right.
she insisted on taking us on these vacations, and they were nightmares because he would just go crazy. At one point, we went to, my dad used to like to go to forts and things like that. I mean, he's a big history person. So we were outside a fort where they were all dressed up in costumes and stuff.
Right.
And Danny was having his meltdown. That's my brother.
Yeah.
And my mother was, why don't you bring the girls in and I'll stand out here with him. And my sister, who was much more out, her personality is more like she's going to say what's on her mind. I was back then very quiet. She'd be like, "This is ridiculous. Why don't we give him up for adoption? Let's get rid of him. He ruins everything." Wow. And my mother goes, "Marcia, if he had a broken leg, would you say, let's give him up for adoption?" And she goes, "Well, he doesn't have a broken leg. he just makes everything uncomfortable for everyone. He ruins everything. Let's give him away. Let's give him away." And then I chime in, yeah, let's give him away. And my mother started crying.
And it's probably doctors at that time probably were telling her the same thing. She was probably the only one holding out.
Yeah, back then they used to blame the mother for autism.
Oh,
It was
wow.
called
I didn't know.
Yeah. If the thought of the day was that the bad refrigerator mother caused autism.
Wow.
So not only did she have to deal with the fact that she had an autistic son, but she was blamed for it. And she would question it. She'd be like, "Well, my daughters aren't autistic, and I haven't treated them any differently than I've treated him."
Right.
So she questioned it back then. And then obviously now they know it's a neurological disorder. But
Right.
but think of having that horrible diagnosis to begin with, and then being blamed for it.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
People back then it was much more rare. It was 1 in 10,000 cases back then.
Right. Yeah. Now it's
1 in 30.
Right. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So
well-
yeah. Now, speaking of that, my naked 5'7" son who is autistic has been waiting for me. He just came in the room, and he's kind of standing here because he wants me to feed him lunch. So I gotta go.
All right, Bonnie. Well, thanks for the
Bonnie.
call. You, your parents, you're all heroes in my opinion. I've told you that before. So thank you for taking such good care of the boys.
I'm trying to get back on schedule so I can at least see the last part of your show every day, because it helps keep my routine. That's my routine. I love your show, and you guys have a great day.
Thanks,
too, Bonnie.
You
Thanks
too.
a lot.
See ya.
All right, bye.
Bye. And we love her show too. Three's Company every Wednesday night at 7:30, right here on govsradio.com. John Ziegler was supposed to be calling in. I don't know if he has my cell, and I have not heard from him.
Yeah,
So I don't know if he
call in.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know if he
grab
was
him tomorrow or something.
Yeah, I would think if he was trying to get through on that line and it was busy, I would have heard from him.
Yeah.
No. So, you want to just give it another 5 minutes?
Sure, we could do that.
All right. So it's a little after 12. We got 5 more minutes. So we and we hope you got. Oh, Larry's watching. Hi, Larry. Oh, is that? Oh, there we go. All right. Let's see. Are you there?
I am.
All right. Hold on 2 seconds. Hold on.
Hey, John.
Hold on a second.
We're just going to mirror you.
I can't get it to work. You just put it on. Hang on a second, John.
Nice to
You
meet.
can mirror it from here. Hang on.
No worries.
Let's see.
I can hear him.
No,
There
I
you
can hear
are.
him, but I want to try and get him up
Yeah.
on there. We're just trying to get you up on the screen, which we're having trouble doing.
Did you flink up? Maybe you have to do it from the.
That's what I was trying to do from this one. Let's see. John, hang on. Sorry, bear with me a second.
Uh-oh. Are you sick?
All right,
Yeah.
we'll just do that. All right. So John Ziegler is on the phone. Hello, John Ziegler. How are you, buddy?
I'm doing all right.
Yeah, you hanging in all right?
Yeah.
What's life like on your end?
This is day 10 of. I'm so excited to talk to another human being. You have no idea.
Yeah, because you live alone, right?
I live alone.
So yeah, I mean, you must be. You're probably never so happy to go to a supermarket, huh?
Anywhere.
Anyway, how's it going with your mom? Because I know you take care of your mom as well.
Yeah, I try not to physically see her.
Yeah.
And I've been sick, so.
Sick with the virus, or?
I haven't been tested, but I'm 99% sure.
Yeah, that's
what I
how
have.
Wow.
me, like, there's a lot of people that, like, kind of feel that way. Like, we're looking back at the symptoms over the last few weeks. We're like, yeah.
No, I have all of them.
Yeah. I didn't have the shortness of breath, but other than that.
I have a little bit of a cough, but no real shortness of breath.
Yeah, that's what I had.
And are you
Just,
are you on the
Almost like a
downswing?
phone.
Go ahead. I'm sorry. Go
Yeah, I
ahead.
think so. It's been like 9 days or 10 days.
Okay.
So probably I'm hoping in another 3 or 4 days
Yeah,
free.
I mean, you don't look. He doesn't look sick to me. He looks like his normal.
No, I'm feeling much
Zero
better.
thing.
Like
Yeah.
it felt like a flu. So like 3 days ago, I couldn't get out of bed.
Yeah.
No kidding. No.
Yeah, it was like there was like a low grade flu. I had fever. My whole body was aching.
Yeah.
Just
That's what I had.
tired.
I didn't have body aches. I was just like worn down, and I just wanted to like lay on the couch. And every day, like one day I'd have a low grade fever. Then the next day I wouldn't, and then the next day
Yeah, it was
I'd
weird.
be like, "Do I seriously have a fever?" Like in my head, like because I didn't know any of this stuff was going around, and I was like, What adult has a fever?" Like, what am I, like 8 years old?
Well, I don't even have a thermometer, so I just would just
People just touching your forehead.
I would just assume by the amount of flop sweat. I'd be watching Tiger King. I'm like, my hair's wet. Is that normal?
Would you normally watch that show if it wasn't for what's going on right now?
No, I don't think I would have because I don't have
Yeah.
that much free time in my life.
Right.
But I watched the entire show in one day.
Yeah. Yeah.
I just watched 8 episodes in a row.
Yeah, people have
And,
recommended it, and I was thinking, okay, maybe I'll like. Someone said it was something like Game of Thrones, so I was like, oh, all right, let me look, and I'm like, it is not Game of Thrones. It is some like Yahoo with a tiger who's about to eat his face off.
Yeah, it was, it's interesting. I don't love it like the rest of the country. But, it's, look, we don't have a lot of options right now. I've pretty much watched, I think, everything that's on Netflix.
Yeah.
I've watched so much television in 2 weeks.
Yeah, and that's. But I guess in a strange way, I guess being sick might have been almost a distraction because when you're sick, you don't want to go out, you don't want to do anything.
Yeah, you just want to lay on the couch and watch TV.
There was like a 2-day stretch where I slept. I just slept.
Right.
Sure.
Like I'd get up, I'd watch a few hours of TV. Didn't have much of an appetite. Just go back to bed.
Yeah.
But as you start to feel better, you get antsy. Like now, I wake up I get up early because I go to bed early.
Yeah,
I
right.
wake up and I'm like, it's 8 a.m. I'm like, what the fuck am I going to do for 14 hours?
Right.
I know. It's a long day.
It's a long day.
really
But
long
when
day.
it's 9 o'clock and you've done everything on your to-do list
Yeah.
by
It's like
9 a.m.
3 in the afternoon. You're like, is it not 8? Like, what's going on?
Yeah, somebody posted yesterday. What did they say? It's March 32nd or something
Yeah.
like that.
March 178.
Yeah, it's just it does. It seems like the days are just so long. It's crazy.
I don't even know what day it is.
It's Thursday.
It's
and
true. It
I
doesn't
actually
even
had to
matter.
look it up. Yeah.
Yeah. It really doesn't matter what day it is.
But does it help you? Does it help creatively? I mean, you have time. Are you able to sit and write jokes, or do you need to be in a normal, everyday state of mind?
I think it helps. It's very hard for me. My apartment is incredibly quiet. I have landlords that live above me, but they're like, it's like living below Anne Frank. I haven't heard a fucking noise up there
That's great.
in 10 days. It's so quiet.
You might want to go check on them, John.
Yeah, that might be dead.
Well, they're afraid. They're afraid of me too. So like, we share a laundry room.
Oh.
I don't think they've done wash in 10 days. Like they won't even come down in my quadrant.
Well, everyone's just wearing sweatpants at home now anyway, so.
Oh, I had a question for John.
I'm only wearing a hat because I haven't had a haircut in 2 months. There's no barbershops.
Yeah, the amazing haircuts we're going to see soon. Everybody's going to be fat and have crazy haircuts.
As soon as I can get access to like somebody who can cut hair, I'm buzzing my head.
Do you want to just do that? Grab the razor and just buzz it. You could do that
I'm gonna do
yourself.
something like that. I'm gonna get I'm gonna do that like the Woody Harrelson in the Planet of the Apes movies. I'm just gonna straight edge it.
All right, so here's a very important question for you. I was told by a friend of mine to ask you this, and I have no idea what it means. Ask John if he remembers the George Hoban show.
The George Hoban show. Oh my God.
What?
Yes. Where did that question come from?
A very close friend of mine says he went to school with you. Rob Notaro, do you know the name?
Oh yeah, of course. Yeah, he used to own
Yeah.
Purple Haze
Yeah.
Records.
Yeah, right in Hicksville, where Lowe's is now. Yeah, Rob's one of my best
Yeah.
friends.
Oh, you and Rob. Oh God, yeah. I was good friends with Rob. I mean, it's been 30 years.
Wow.
Yeah, that's really fun. Wow, good memory, Rob Notaro, the George Hoban show.
Yeah, what is that?
So my friend Ray Hickey and George Hoban and my brother Jimmy. This was back when you had VHS tapes and the camera looked like something like you worked for CBS television.
Right.
Handheld. They shot they used to make stupid videos, like, joking around. They did a talk show called The George Hoban Show. It's just a mock talk show. But we're talking like, we were young. Me and Rob might have been in junior high. So it was like 40 years ago.
Wow.
They made a VHS tape called The George Hoban. I wish I had access to that. I'm sure that tape is lost some, but it's gone. I would love to have that.
And what did you do on there? You were the featured stand-up comedian?
No, I was like 12. I was like 12 when they made it.
So they didn't let you in it.
I wasn't in it. But,
Jimmy's little brother, get out of here.
yeah, so pretty much, yeah. All I did was like put me in a closet and blow weed in my face.
Yeah. Right.
That's great.
It's like
So
it's
are
so
you still
funny.
friends
Like
with
people always talk about like, oh, your friends that influence you. It's always like the older siblings that are like give you all your first experiences that your parents are horrified about.
And I got a lot. I'm the youngest of 6, so I have a lot of those.
Oh, no kidding. Oh, wow. I
Yeah.
didn't know that.
Yeah. So are you still friends with Rob?
Oh, yeah, I talk to Rob all the time.
He's over all the time. Yeah.
I met Rob in the late 80s. Yeah, 86, I believe it was. I met him, and then we became started hanging out and stuff in the early 90s, and we've been close friends for years. I was I was at his wedding and helped DJ his wedding, and just one of my closest friends. Had a lot of great times with Rob. He's a great guy. I even worked a
You met
little
him in 86. We graduated high school in 85.
Right, yeah. Mm-hmm.
So basically,
Passing the
I
torch.
haven't seen him since 85.
Wow.
He basically traded me in, and he got you.
Yeah. He's probably
I
pissed off
remember
about
he
it right
bought-
now.
It was after high school, obviously. He had Purple Haze over by the old farmer's market.
Yep. Right.
And
Yeah.
it was a very cool record store when, unfortunately, that kind of shit don't really exist very much anymore.
Yeah. Which is unfortunate. And I
It
worked.
really is. 'Cause
I worked there part time for a few years, and it was great because they had a Ticketmaster machine, so they would hook me up.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's,
So
oh, God.
the
It's all
old-
coming back to me.
Yeah, the old days of waiting online for concert or sports tickets, and they used to hook me up with seats to some of the best stuff. Man, I never forget seeing Paul McCartney like 20th row center, and Eddie Murphy was sitting behind me. I couldn't believe it.
That's great.
Oh yeah, it was unbelievable. But he's a good guy. Just talked to him yesterday, and then I
Give him my best.
I will.
don't
Yeah, I
believe you.
posted that you were calling in today, and also this morning I get a text from him asking about the George Hoban show. I'm like, what
Wow,
the
I
hell
don't
are you
believe he
talking?
remembers that name.
Yeah, he remembers
Very
everything,
impressed.
Rob. Yeah, he remembers
Yeah, I was gonna
everything.
say, he's got to be some kind of savant.
That's great. So what else? What else? I mean, so
what's
you
going
just
on with you?
You just watching TV? I guess is that are you watching anything good other than Tiger King? Catching up on comedy
I
specials,
watched
maybe.
season 3 of. I don't watch too many comedy specials.
Oh,
I watch from YouTube. I stream YouTube to my TV. I watch a lot of Joe Rogan,
nice.
depending on who his guests are.
Yeah.
I find stuff. YouTube takes me down a rabbit hole, so I go on YouTube, and next thing you know,
Then you're there. It's like 12
Yep.
hours later.
I do the same exact thing.
yeah.
I'm doing a lot of baseball right
But I
now.
watched
I miss
you-
baseball.
I watched a few series. I watched Ricky Gervais's. He had a series called Afterlife. I watched that. I watched Ozark.
Oh, is that good? That looks good. Ozark.
Which one?
Ozark. That looks good.
I didn't love season 3. I really like seasons 1 and 2.
Okay.
I watched a lot. I'm on doing 7 different series, but I'm running out. Last night I couldn't find anything to watch.
Have you tried
I have
Hunters?
Hulu. Yeah, I watched that too. I watched that all in one day also. Nazis never get old. It's
What?
amazing.
Did you happen to notice in episode 7, Tony was an extra?
You saw this face. You saw this face on that show.
Oh, you in Hunters?
Yeah,
Yep,
towards the
episode
very
7.
end of episode 7, he's in the support group and he's sitting around in a circle while they're talking.
Got a few close-ups actually.
Yeah. It was cool.
Was it the support group for when the guy from How I Met Your Mother was pretending he was in Nam,
Yep, that's the
that's
one.
the exact scene. Yeah.
and he's like talking about Charlie and stuff like that, and he's
Yep.
just all full of shit.
Yeah, and then he fesses up
So,
to
'cause
who
I
he
remember
really
the
is.
episode. How did I not notice Tony?
I don't know. Yeah, there was big close-ups. I don't know what the hell you were looking at, Ziegler.
I was in full Corona swing at that point. So
Yeah.
excuse me.
Yeah, he had chills. It's okay.
Wow. So all
It
right.
is amazing though that like you can try to invent as many villains as you want, but you still just can't top Nazis. It's amazing.
No. And you think you've heard, a lot of the stories, and every episode I'm like, no way. It's just unreal.
Like that is true. I didn't know that after World War II.
I didn't know the whole chess
that
thing.
we
The
brought-
chess thing freaks me out. The chessboard.
Yeah, I'm sure it's all based in some truth.
Ugh,
But I didn't know we brought all those doctors and scientists over here and gave them fake identities. That's a true story.
Right. Yeah. Mm-hmm. It's amazing. I'm always amazed. Years ago when HBO had that miniseries Band of Brothers, I never, because there's that scene towards the end of the miniseries where the army gets in and they discover the concentration camps. That always stuck with me because in our lifetime they existed. You were just used to reading about them and hearing about them. Never thought about the people that before they were in existence, discovering them for the first time and hearing what it must have been like to hear,
Right.
to see it first of all, but then to hear what they were doing to these poor people. It's
This was pretty good. I enjoyed it.
and it was cool to see Pacino acting again.
Now I have to rewatch episode 7 though.
Yeah, just
Of
the
course,
end.
of course. I mean, after all, it is me, and I'm getting into the stand-up world now too.
I've heard that.
You did
in
hear that?
Social media.
That's right. Yeah,
I did see something on social media.
Well, that's the problem. It's gotten so bad in the comedy world. They had to throw me on stage, and then they shut it all down.
I can't tell you how much I miss comedy.
Yeah.
Oh, it's the worst. This is by far the longest. I've been doing comedy for 12 years.
Yeah.
And in the last 11 years, it's the first year I didn't do very much. Okay. But in the last 11 years, this is by far the longest I've gone without picking up.
It's so weird to be at Governor's where like the parking lot's empty. We're walking down the hallways. No one's. The last people here are us. The other day. It's so strange.
Yeah, we're
now,
so.
is Eric not sitting in with you guys?
Eric's doing it from home on Wednesdays, just to like.
Okay.
Yeah, we infect each other at home, so we make.
Yeah.
So you don't have to worry about it,
right? And there's nobody else in this building at all, let alone this studio.
Yeah, we
so
cleaned
figured we may as
everything
well.
all and wiped everything all down.
Yeah, we can keep coming in, but yeah, Eric, nobody
no
else
guests or
can come in
anything till we can figure it out.
And it is weird, like Sallie said, we're used to. It's an energetic place because of the type of place it is. Plus, there's guys like you that would be, coming in from time to time to take care of something, and then you would stop in here. So it is really strange to see this place so quiet and have nobody here, and we feel bad for all the comics, the musicians, all the people that make a living doing something live. It's tough, and it's crazy and so surreal.
I mean, obviously, financially, I've been crushed.
Right.
I mean, I lost basically all my income for March, April, May.
Right.
Already starting to lose June.
Yeah.
I'm
How
already
far
starting to get.
are they starting to cancel July, or June is like the worst?
I'm sorry, Sally, you froze up there. What's that?
Are they canceling July shows, or they're just June is like the worst so far?
Oh, there you go. You're back. I'm canceled through pretty much into June.
Wow.
But then the summer's quiet anyway.
Yeah.
True. Right.
Well, maybe it won't be.
Yeah, it might not be because people are going to be dying to get out as soon as they.
And they're not going to want to
soon as
hop on a
this is over.
plane at
Right.
first. So
Yes,
maybe
I'm
everyone will stay
hoping.
local and just get out and support your local people.
What was the longest you've gone without? Before this, what was the longest you've gone in between gigs?
6 or 7 days. I took a vacation to Mexico.
Right. Yeah.
Wow.
But that was like once.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sure.
Like if I go 3 days without getting up, I start to get a little twitchy and a little jonesy.
Yep. It seems a lot of the comedians
To
say
miss
that.
a month is unheard of.
Yeah. Absolutely. And hope and everybody's feeling the financial crunch, but at the same time, hopefully we're not spending a lot either because first of all, there's nowhere to go, and you like to think certain places that would send you a bill, won't send a bill, or at least let it slide for a month or two anyway.
Yeah.
I mean, it's part of it's financial, part of it is I just miss comedy. I miss being around the guys. I miss writing. I miss being on stage.
Sure.
I was telling my friend, I was talking to Brian McKenna, a good friend of mine.
Oh, Brian's calling in tomorrow.
We mentioned something about that. Yeah, he's doing. His album came out on iTunes, so
right.
He's doing well. I have sound equipment here, so I do private shows.
Sure.
I actually dug it out and took the microphone out of the bag, just to hold the microphone. It was the
like when you're
thing
7
ever.
years old singing Elvis,
or when you're 5 years old.
It's really what I felt like. I didn't do anything with it. I just took it out because I missed holding the microphone.
right?
Like instead of a teddy bear or like Linus with the blanket, you got a microphone.
Yeah, pretty much.
That's funny.
If you've seen my headshot, I just sat on the couch with the mic on my cheek.
And doing like a Facebook Live thing, like Joey Cola's been doing. He did one of his acts. He's doing another one.
Joey's done it. I know Chris Monte's done it.
Yeah.
A lot of comics have done it. It's just not my thing. I don't really get much from that. Like I need to be in front of an audience.
Sure, absolutely. Yeah, I get that.
I think me just standing in my living room telling jokes into an iPad's not going to do much for me.
Yeah.
Yeah, I am the same way.
Each his own. It's just not.
Oh, sure,
I don't really get much out of that.
Right.
But people starve for entertainment, so.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's hard because you write. I write, but it's hard if you're writing. You don't have a stage to try it out.
Plus, you've had fever.
So I have a bunch of new stuff.
Well, right, but that's a positive. We've talked about it a few times here. That one of the positives of this is when hopefully there's a lot of great original material coming out. Whether it's stand up, whether it's music, whether it's a movie or a play. Hopefully, there'll be some great original new things coming out after all this.
Yeah.
Hopefully, anyway.
Yeah, that's true.
So, all right.
All right. Well, thank you.
The hard part is obviously when I write at home, I wouldn't be writing it if I didn't think it was funny.
Right.
Yeah.
But probably the amount of material that sticks it's definitely less than 10%.
Right. Sure.
So right now I have all these jokes that I think are amazing, and it's going to suck when I have to throw away 120 of the 130 jokes I wrote. But right now it's all gold. You need to get on stage and be reminded that it's not all good.
It's true. Well, we look forward to seeing you back on stage, and hopefully soon, and hopefully, seeing you in person instead of on these damn phones.
Yeah.
But we appreciate the time as always, pal. You've always been supportive of us and our show here. So we hope you continue to feel better, and maybe we'll check in again with you in another week or so, and then, like I said, hopefully see you in the flesh in person soon.
You got it. I'm going to go watch episode 7 of Hunters right
nice.
now. That's my to-do
list.
Thanks,
John.
Very cool. Thank you, sir. Again, feel good. We'll talk again.
Thanks.
Yeah, I think we lost him anyway.
Yeah, that's right.
We were starting to have some connection issues,
Yeah.
and then I think we lost him at the
That was
end.
good. It was good to hear from him.
Absolutely good to hear from him. John Ziegler. Check him out on YouTube. He's got some clips up. Definitely see him when things are back up and running. He is hilarious. Always a lot of fun. We've worked with him in a few different settings, and he's always been a good friend of our show here. All right, so we're going to run. Today is Thursday. Soul Space is scheduled to go on today. We hope it's going to happen. I know she's been, having some difficulty trying to get the technical end of things going from her house. But as of right now, she is scheduled to go on at 6:30. So that's Soul Space at 6:30 here at govsradio.com. Limo Talk with Graz is on tonight. I think he's starting at 9. I'm not sure about that. I'll double check that. We'll post it later. Then we're back tomorrow at 11. Don't forget, Don Sill will be on Saturday. Tom Galati on Saturday? I don't think so, right?
I don't think so.
If any changes, we'll let you know. MJ is doing a bonus show on Saturday afternoon. Don't forget, Monday, we're back on Monday, but Monday is the premiere. We're going to premiere what we're calling, we've decided on a title. It's called Quarantine Life. It's going to play on Govs Radio every afternoon, starting Monday, every afternoon at 2. It's going to be 7 days a week throughout the whole month of April and beyond, as long as this quarantine is happening. It's just called Quarantine Life. Every day is a different Govs Radio host, where they're just going to be live from wherever they are, whether it's home, shopping, at the supermarket, wherever they are, and they're just going to talk about what's happening in their life under this quarantine. It's not going to be a show like this where we're interviewing people, making jokes, entertaining. Just going to be talking about their life in quarantine. Mike O'Toole, I believe, is next Wednesday, and he said something about maybe playing the drums. He's got a drum set in his garage. Felix will be back. Felix is going to hold on to most of the Thursdays, like when he was on, Let's Eat Long Island was on Thursday afternoon, so he's going to take Thursday afternoons. So stay tuned for that. That's Monday afternoon. That'll be every day at 2 o'clock. Quarantine Life here at govsradio.com. Govsradio.com. You saw the commercial before. Don't forget the swag, your mugs, your hats, your T-shirts with the Govs Radio logo on it. You can catch us on Spotify. Catch us here on Facebook, YouTube, our website, on your smart TVs, your Apple TV, your Roku's, your Fire Stick. On their TV, you got to look for an app called Boxcast, and that's where you'll find us. Govsradio.com. And that's it. We'll be back tomorrow at 11. Thank you, guys. Hope you enjoyed Nick Orr. Hope you enjoyed John